Hey, this is Jim at Broadfield. Thanks for joining us again another Thursday afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern Time for a Broadfield Liquid Lunch. You'll see I have quite the setup in front of me, and I'm really excited to bring you some great new bundles today from Telestream, Wirecast with the Wirecast gear, XKeys, and PTZOptics. Before we go into today's show, we're going to give our dealers a chance to join us and crack open a nice beer that's in a green can that's disappearing on camera right now, that our sales guy from Texas, Glenn, brought up to us. It is Daddy's Juice Box, a double IPA from True Vine Brewing in Tyler, Texas. I've got a glass of it here. I know you can see the beer because the beer itself is not green. Very nice double IPA that comes in at 8.5%. What's real interesting when you start getting into these double IPAs from places outside of the New England area is they all have a very different taste. This is definitely a lot closer to a West Coast IPA than it is to some of the New England brews. It is a hop bomb with a lot of the tropical aromas, but without that haziness that you would expect to see here in New England with some of the double IPAs brewed with the same Simcoe and Citra hop varieties. This beer, you can actually kind of see through it, and it still has that same hoppy flavor. So Glenn, thanks for sharing this with us, and cheers. Let's go right into today's show. Wirecast has just put together a great bundle promotion allowing you to offer your customers more than $500 off when you combine a Wirecast gear, XKeys Controller, and PTZOptics cameras. Let's get into the details on this great new bundle. Again, the bundle is going to be the Wirecast Gear 2. It could be any version of the Wirecast gear, the 310, the 320, or the 420. The XKeys Controller, which I have here on the table in front of me, 1 or 2 PTZOptics cameras, and of course anything else that you need to add to that bundle to make it a complete solution for your customers. That can be a PTZOy IP joystick controller from PTZOptics. It could be an RS-232 joystick controller, or it could be any of the other products that we have available here at Broadfield Distributor. So again, I want to stress that these bundles can be created with any version of a Wirecast gear. So step 1 in promoting these bundles to your customers is to let them choose the Wirecast gear system that is going to work best in their layout. The Wirecast Gear 310 at $59.95 MSRP is perfect for your basic HDMI productions. Whether your customers are in house of worship, education, sports production, if they're using HDMI cameras and they want to continue to use those cameras or even upgrade them with some NDI cameras available, the Gear 310 would be the perfect place to start. For $1,000 more, we could get into the Gear 320, allowing them to enable a full SDI production workflow. Or, of course, there is the Gear 420 at $89.95. The Gear 420 gives you 5 SDI capture plus a program output and is the Wirecast gear unit that I have here in the studio today. The greatest thing about the Gear 420 is the fact that it is upgraded hardware with a dedicated NVIDIA GPU. That additional processing power is important, and especially something that you want to emphasize when you're talking to customers who are looking to get into the IP production workflows. If your customers are going to be getting to the point where they're using 3, 4, or more NDI cameras and NDI sources, you're going to want the additional processing power. That additional $2,000 cost is very easy to justify in the amount of money that they're going to save long-term in retrofitting their production solution with NDI technology and incorporating additional NDI sources in their workflow. You can use the PTZOptics NDI Z cams or the PTZOptics NDI PTZ cameras to put together a complete solution that will require just one Cat6 cable run to the camera for video and audio over NDI, power with PoE being supplied to the cameras, and everything that they need through that simple one cable run. So again, you're going to start with your customers by helping them identify the right Wirecast gear for their needs. Step 2 is going to be adding the XKeys Controller for Wirecast. The XKeys Controller at $659.95 is a great solution to give you that hardware tactile interface, especially when you're getting into a multi-camera production environment. The greatest thing about this bundle solution is Telestream worked closely with XKeys and with PTZOptics so that XKeys is contributing $100 into this bundle savings. So we've got $200 contribution from Telestream themselves, $100 from XKeys, $100 per camera from PTZOptics with up to 2 cameras. And we're going to go into more of these details in the future. But what's important to know is that you're going to start with the gear unit, add step 2, the XKeys controller, and now step 3, add a PTZOptics camera. Now, the bundle savings will apply towards any PTZOptics SDI or NDI model. If you add any one of these SDI or NDI PTZ cameras to a Wirecast gear bundle, that's going to add a $100 bundle savings. If you add 2 cameras to the bundle, that's going to add a $200 bundle savings. If you're working with customers who are going to require more than those 2 cameras, we can get additional cameras by using PTZOptics NDI-Z cams or by adding additional PTZ cameras, and we're going to already be maxed out at that $500 bundle savings. I put together this quick little chart that I would be happy to share with you to show you how you can offer these bundle savings to your customers. And the advantage of dealing with Broadfield is that we're going to allow you to sharpen your pencil to get to the next lowest price point. So if you look at my chart here, if we follow this first column down, let's pull that up full screen, and we start with a Wirecast Gear 310 at $59.95. I add the XKeys controller at $659, and I add a 30X SDI camera. I can offer that complete bundle at a $79.99 MSRP. That is a perfect price point to offer a complete solution to your customers who are interested in Wirecast gear. If those customers want to add a second PTZOptics camera, you can offer them the additional $100 bundle savings. So that $79.99 package with the addition of a 12X SDI camera is going to be another $1,500 or $1,499 more. So that bundle is now going to come in at $94.98, allowing you to offer your customers a full live production system with an XKeys controller and 2 PTZOptics cameras for under 10 grand. This is a phenomenal deal that you can start offering immediately, and this program will be good for the remainder of Q1. We've also taken that opportunity to take this spreadsheet that we know is a little bit confusing and difficult to follow and put together some recommended solutions that we think hit the price points that are going to be easy to promote to show that value to your customers. If I pull up that chart here, you will see the first bundle I have with a Gear 310, the XKeys, and a 30X SDI camera comes in at $79.99. For $94.99, I can add an additional 12X SDI camera and get that complete solution. And then I could do the same with the Gear 320 or with the Gear 420. And again, these bundles with these price points that you see here are with the Wirecast gear, the XKeys, and a PTZOptics, either 1 or 2, SDI cameras. This bundle savings, if I go back to my previous chart, can be done with any SDI model camera, in gray or white, or any NDI model camera in gray or white. So we can help you work with your customer's quote to get the maximum savings to promote this great deal. The biggest reason for putting together these bundles is because we know this is a solution that works well together and is going to give you a very satisfied customer. A couple of years ago at NAB, Wirecast actually announced integrated PTZ camera control with PTZOptics cameras. Wirecast also natively supports NDI workflows and NDI input capability. So that means if you have a PTZOptics NDI camera that you're bundling with any model of a Wirecast gear, with one cable, you can get your audio and video over NDI, your power over PoE to the camera itself, and camera control without any hardware camera controller. I actually have a Wirecast Gear 420 set up in front of me today with a PTZOptics camera so I can show you this integrated camera control. We're going to pull up my Wirecast Gear interface full screen, and you can see that I have 3 different options for controlling this PTZ camera. I can either use a map, a directional pad, or an analog pad. So if I pull up the directional pad and I move that camera to the right, I can pan or zoom very easily right from within that Wirecast software. If I change this to the analog pad, it allows me to do the same things with a little bit different control as I move throughout this circle. And then, of course, the map is a great option if you need to quickly jump to areas that you know the camera will be able to pick up. And again, my pan, tilt, and zoom controls are all right here, very easily found within the Wirecast software interface. When you start controlling multiple PTZOptics cameras in a multi-camera environment, all connected either over SDI or NDI to your Wirecast Gear system, and you control them over the network by using this integration with no additional hardware, it makes it super easy and very affordable because you don't need your customers to add additional hardware camera control. An interesting anecdote that we've found from speaking to customers at shows like NAB New York and from getting feedback from our dealers is there seems to be a Mendoza line of about 30 years of age. People I talk to who are producing videos that are over 30 like to have that hardware camera control with a PTZOptics joystick controlling the camera itself. However, you speak to a younger producer, someone under 30, and they prefer to use either a touchscreen on an iPad or integrated software in order to control the camera like I showed you today. It's interesting to see these 2 different areas of thought. One is really not any better than another. As a matter of fact, the way this integration was done within Wirecast, it actually is just as easy to use as it is with the hardware. It all comes down to personal preference in what you're used to. So if you're an old guy like me and you like to consider yourself younger, use the software interface to control your cameras, and you'll immediately impress those working alongside of you. I also want to mention that every single one of these bundles, one of the things that we strongly recommend is that every Wirecast Gear system being quoted to your customers should also include a line item for Wirecast Gear Care. Gear Care allows you to offer your customers 3 years of support with advanced replacement and premium support from Telestream directly for just $9.95. Anytime you're selling enterprise-class hardware like the Wirecast Gear Live production systems, you want to get in the habit of adding the services as an additional line item to that quote. Some customers, of course, will not want to purchase the Gear Care, but by having it there on the quote, it allows you to show that you're offering those services and offering them the support that they need. For customers, especially in the education and government markets, having these services to support the hardware they purchase is becoming more and more important to them. You will see that Gear Care at just $9.95 for 3 years gives them eligibility for remote access services with Telestream directly, and of course, the advanced replacement. If your customers are doing mission-critical live productions and something goes wrong with their unit, having that advanced replacement option to use even once over a 3-year period makes this contract well worth itself. If you have any questions about how this bundle promotion works, definitely give us a call at 800-634-5178. Your Broadfield sales team is up to speed and has access to all that same information that I shared earlier, including the sales chart and the promo itself. But again, the best way to think about it is you start step 1 with a Wirecast Gear unit. Step 2, add the XKeys. Step 3, add a PTZOptics camera. That allows you to offer your customers a $400 bundle rebate. Add a second PTZOptics camera, and now you maximize their savings with a $500 bundle rebate. We do need to have a proof of sale that shows all of these bundled items together on an invoice to your customers in order to get that POS rebate back from Telestream to pass that along to you. If you have any questions about this program and you want to maximize all your sales quotes from now through the end of March, give your Broadfield sales rep a call. And of course, join us every Thursday at 1 p.m. We have some great news coming up, again, with some great new bundles from LiveView. We are going to have George and Jen from LiveView joining us on the show next week, talking to you about LiveView Solo, Solo Connect, the LU200 and 300, and some great bundles and new workflow solutions we put together. As a matter of fact, since we're talking about Wirecast Gear today, one of the bundles we're going to share with you next week is how you can use multiple LiveView solo units and feed them into an RTMP server to bring them as remote inputs into a Wirecast Gear production system. We actually have a high school that has done exactly that this week, and we're going to have a case study to share with you next week. Following that, we're going to have a Broadfield spotlight on all of the PTZ camera options that we have available, including the great cameras included in the bundles we talked about today from PTZOptics. PTZOptics has USB, HDMI, SDI, and NDI PTZ cameras available, and we have a wealth of other PTZ cameras where I am confident that we have the right solution for whatever your customers need. Until next week, cheers.
Broadfield Distributing is a value-added distributor of live production, streaming, video editing, and storage products. We only sell to resellers. We are always looking for new dealers. So call us at 1-800-634-5178 or email sales@broadfield.com. You'll like doing business with Broadfield because we make it easy to do business.